So I want to know about key person cover, shareholder protection, group schemes, the whole business side of insurance. But what's sort of an overview of the options for a starter of what business owners can think about?
Yeah, there's quite a few options, I guess, ranging from size of the business and I guess as the business gets bigger, that's when you can start looking into group plans for staff, because generally speaking, you need 15 or more staff for those types of plans. But I guess there's a wide range. Shareholder protection's a pretty good one to start off with when you've got parties that aren't in the same family or household, so to speak. For example, me and you set up a business. Something happened to me. Had to exit the business permanently because I passed away. My family or estate's going to want to get my value out of the shareholding, and you're probably not going to want them to be having an active part of our business. So that's a really useful way of transferring ownership in a situation where you've got owners who aren't related. Probably could get into a bit more specifics about that one there.
Yeah, we can unpack it later. So you got group
Yeah,
scheme where you need at least 15. You have shareholders
yeah.
so you don't end up in business with their partner. And then what are some other ones that people usually use in business, like cover plus extra or something? Or
Some advisors get into the cover plus extra conversation, not all do. But I guess that's part of the overall picture when we're looking at sort of key person protection for around income. Some people elect to have insurance to cover to replace their duties in the business and lost income.
mm-hmm.
So I've cocked that bit up a
No, you're right.
bit.
So key person, someone I think is like involved more than 20% of the revenue. They're really important. You suddenly lose them. They're hard to replace. So if they pass away or end up disabled, you need money to sort of pay out. I think that's it. Or yeah, what's key person cover?
It's well, there's I guess it's a probably within the category of business cover. There's debt protection, shareholder protection, and key person protection. And within each of those three categories, there is sort of multiple different options around how you can protect that risk. So I guess we've touched on the shareholder protection for a start is really around ownership transfer in the event one of the owners needs to or exits the business because they're permanently because they're either passed away or permanently disabled. Then there's, I guess, the business debt risk, which is covering debt in the business, which is predominantly around either clearing the debt if someone's passed away or permanently disabled, and that's generally in the case of a single family business, I guess. Say you owned the business by yourself and you had some debt in the business. That debt will be cleared and gives you options going forward as to how the business.
Is it called that? Is it called anything different? Like when so you got a whole lot of debt, do you just still get life insurance or?
Yeah, it's life. Yeah, effectively, it's a life insurance policy, but the risk, I guess, is the debt protection in the business. We've actually got some pretty cool documents prepared to summarize these three things for business
Oh yeah.
owners. It's pretty handy.
So
But I guess
it's the same concept. Someone gets permanently disabled or it's life insurance, they cover something. Is it called a different thing or is it structured differently?
yeah, I mean each of those different, like I guess the shareholder risk, the debt risk, and the key person risk are, I guess, they're just categories of the different types of risk, really. And um, and within those three risks, there's many different options to protect against the risks that come about in those. Like, for example, it might be that a smaller business might not have the shareholder protection risk because it's just that individual owner. So that's not even part of the equation. They might have a bit of debt. So how are we going to get around protecting that risk? If they it could be, for example, I had a business and no one in my family intended to carry it on if I passed away. Is it just a matter of clearing any debt in the business and allowing them to wind the business up however they so choose, whether it be just selling or just winding up? Is it a matter of making sure the repayments are paid? Is there's enough funding there to cover the repayments while they make a decision around how they're going to wind that business up? It might be that, in the case of a injury or illness, is there just funding to cover those debt repayments to live to fight another day? In the form of that could be income protection in that sense. And then I guess on the key person side, it's as you mentioned before, it's covering funding to recover the cost to replace that key person. So, if someone was permanently exited, is there a requirement to have a lump sum fund to bring someone else in if they get sick for a period of time? What's it going to cost to hire someone else to do what they do?
So how did they work it out? So you got this person, I don't know, they contribute 200 grand a year to your business. And then how do you actually work out what to cover them for? Do you have to do their medicals? Hey, I'm just trying to cover you if you get cooked. Is that okay? Go do this blood test.
I mean, they obviously have to do all the full underwriting and application process, same as anyone else, to get the cover set up. But I guess in terms of calculating the value for that, it's, if it's for an income protection, I guess for a key person, it's, okay, this person's Joe's out of the business for 6 months. Who can we get to replace what Joe does, and how much is that going to cost? Is that going to cost $10,000 a month? Is that going to cost $5,000 a month? And then you can have the income cover to essentially pay for the cost to replace him during
And
that
there's
time.
a maximum. You can't do like more than 2 years or something.
Yeah, 2 years is, generally speaking, on the business side, if you're out for more than 2 years, you're probably not coming back.
So it's the idea is like you just help them temporarily, or
Yeah.
And then why would Joe do it though? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you're really important to the business. If you get cooked, something bad's gonna happen to our business. Can you do all these blood tests? You don't get anything out of it.
Well, potentially yes, because you think about it from a sense of, if that person's that key to the business, they're probably going to want him back when he's able to work again. So it's probably keeping their job locked up for when they actually do recover and get better, because that person that's replacing them is a temporary, it's like a locum type situation.
So their incentive is that they'll have a job to come back from. People don't really think about that, eh? You imagine you got cancer, so it takes 9 months to get back, 9 to 12 months, and then your sick pay's gone, and they need a business to run. My friend, her mum got diagnosed with cancer, and she told the people she worked for, and they're like, "Yes, sorry, you're on your own." So they said you should resign. So she had to. Money.
It's a tough one, and I guess that's sort of where the group options can come in too. They follow on, and they're relatively inexpensive benefit to offer staff. So there's quite a few different types of group or employee benefit insurance. One common one that employers provide their staff is medical cover. So as I said, generally 15 plus staff is where we start looking at it being a viable option, because at that point, the big benefit is when they start, they're covered for start the policy. When they start employment, they are given the medical cover with cover for qualifying pre-existing medical conditions. So they don't have exclusions on their policy that, say for example, you or I just applied for an individual medical insurance policy, we're going to have exclusions potentially for pre-existing conditions. Whereas these group plans, they don't have that. So it's a really great benefit for staff. So on that medical insurance side, the employer pays for all of the staff to have the medical insurance, and then from their advisors, like, so say for example, I looked after I don't know, say a trucking company, all
Oh, yeah.
all their staff would have a base level of medical insurance paid for by the company, and that's the company pays that. Then, if the staff members wish, they can choose to add family members, do upgrades to the plan, and add additional modules or options, which they would then pay for at their own cost. But the base level of cover is paid for by the business.
It's interesting. It's like, because a lot of people don't see the value in insurance until they witness hardship or experience it. So I wonder how valuable the staff would see it unless they've got pre-existing conditions. So then you're attracting
Yeah,
a whole lot of people that are like unhealthy, but they're really grateful.
yeah, it's quite funny when we do these presentations. Generally speaking, we'll arrange the cover with the business owner or the board who want to provide these benefits for their staff, and we will then launch their offer to the staff, and a lot of the staff members, you got a young 18, 19, 20-year-old, fit as a fiddle, 6 foot tall, bulletproof, nothing's going to happen to me. They're like, cool, sweet, thanks. What does this mean to me? But then at the other end of the scale, people have been through life and had a few things go wrong over the course of their life, and they really appreciate it because they're like, okay, well, I know that if I was to apply for this myself, A, it costs a lot, B, I'm not going to get covered for all these things that have happened to me in the past, and then they sort of appreciate it. So I guess it's a mixed bag when you do present them, because like I said, some staff members really do appreciate it. Some of them, it's like, oh shoot, well, what is this for? But there's so many different risks you can protect with that. It's and there's so many different options. Like for example, what you mentioned before with your mate's mum, the medical cover is just an example. Like whereas medical cover may have been able to assist in that case there with helping her get access to private medical treatment instead of going through the public system, bit more immediate access to treatment and services, more choice of who they can go to, access to drugs and services that aren't available on the public system. But there are other ways that that could help in that situation too, because with the group covers, it's not just limited to medical cover. If her employer, for example, had provided a group trauma cover, for example, there could have been a lump sum payment on diagnosis of that cancer. That employers could do group life cover. So if a staff member passes away, that money can be paid out to their family. Group income protection. There's so many different options to tailor these group and employer benefit plans. It's just a matter of what the organisation's budget is, what they're wanting to offer staff. I mean, we've got quite a few different. We manage quite a few different employer plans, and they, some range from the base entry level, and some are very comprehensive and very generous. So, I think the fact that any employer is looking to provide employee benefits through the form of an insurance policy for their staff it's great. It's a big bonus. It helps to attract and retain good staff, because it's providing an additional benefit for them, and also from the employer's perspective, I guess if you imagine staff members being supported through hard times of ill health, they're going to recover quicker. They're going to have more support during that time, they're going to come back to work quicker as well.
Yeah, you imagine the impact on culture is like you had to let someone go that was there for 20 years and they had cancer, and you're like, sorry, we can't afford you. But
Yeah.
can you, like, let's say you had a whole squad of master games people, the 60 plus. Can you can you tee up like a group scheme? Is there do you have to have a range of ages?
Well, I guess the whole concept of the group scheme is that you get a mixture of people. So the risk is spread, I guess. So, most organisations have a mixture of age, mixture of
Oh,
sexes.
okay. So you've never had like a single like group of
Yeah,
people and it'll
yeah,
pass.
yeah, yeah. And with, I guess, behind the scenes, when these types of policies are rated with the insurers and the pricing comes out, it is all sort of based on what's the overall demographics of the group.
Ah,
So
damn.
could it be that, at least in that trucking example, trucking company, it could be, both businesses have 30 staff, they're both going to cost exactly the same. One average age might be 25, one average age might be 50. It's going to be a different pricing.
So the ideal target is so people with a whole lot of health issues that are older, with a whole lot of young people that don't care. But then the seniors, like garbage men, for example. I used to be a garbage man, but I would hang off the back of the truck and run around. So usually the young
Yeah.
fella does that, and then the old overweight guy's driving. So then you
Yeah.
would get the good mixture of price, and then they'll see value, which will encourage them to stay and get back to work.
Exactly. That's the one, mate. Exactly the one. Because like I said, and it's quite interesting as well. Because with these group policies as well, when people leave the employer, either through retirement or just moving on, they get given the opportunity to continue the cover, but at their own cost. And quite often, what we see is in that the people that are wanting to keep the cover going forward are the ones with a few
Challenges.
niggles here and there that they know if they leave that policy, they're probably not going to get cover for on a private plan.
Do they get the group scheme price, or does it start again?
Nah, they lose the group. That's the only thing they lose is the group discount, and then they have to pay for it themselves, which is because the employer had been paying for it before, and it's got a discount for being part of a group.
Does it have loadings? Like, so it does, so
Nah, no loadings. Yeah, no loadings.
okay, so they come in and they're cooked with their health, and then they go to leave. That even though they've got bad health, it isn't impacting their ability to get it. It just might be a higher price because it's individual.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and then I guess following on from that, with the individual ones, sometimes some of the providers, not all of them, but they generally have some sort of low claim discount. So you may lose that if you're making lots of claims, but but that's done on a year to year at renewal time.
Can you get group level trauma cover? You know what I mean? Like, so you get everyone and lock in a low price. Well, I guess it's still individual price when they go to get it.
Yeah, I mean,
random
I
question.
don't actually know the answer.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's more when it's more if you had a group trauma type cover, then if the employee leaves, they can look at making it a level cover.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
When they look to continue that type thing.
How does it go? Explain to the business owner, like, because most business owners, I know they're compassionate, but they care about the bottom line. Do they tap into that, lower turnover, or is it usually people that have seen a staff member get cooked and they're like, wow, that's horrible?
Yeah, it's a bit like anything with insurance. Usually there's a few reasons people are more motivated to come see an advisor. It's usually something big's happened, like they've taken on a whole lot of debt, or either buying a house, starting a business, etc., or someone they know has had something significant happen to them that either they were helped with insurance throughout that process, or insurance would have helped but they didn't have it, and they don't want to be in the same position as that person they know. So, a lot of these conversations do come from, unfortunately, something not so nice happening. So they sort of come through a range of different avenues, really. Some of them come up from a staff member starts with them who had it previously, and they ask, well, do you guys do that? And like, oh, actually, we don't, but that's a bloody good idea. Let's have a look at that. So, my previous employer provided this. Why don't you guys? It's not like a pressure thing, but it's like, oh, shoot, well, that's maybe something we should have a look at, because that was obviously well received by staff.
Is that the biggest objection? Like, oh, will our staff appreciate? Like, the biggest fear you need to overcome? What's the biggest objection to it?
Well, usually the biggest, as you mentioned before, bottom line, biggest objection is usually price.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a bit like anything. Are they going to see value in it? Are their staff going to see value in it? And if it's something that they're going to see value in the form of supporting their staff, showing that they're a caring, supportive employer, the staff are going to use, the staff are going to appreciate, then if they see value in it, then the price is often not too much of an objection.
Interesting.
It's
so
just
like
getting that. I guess it's a bit like anything. You sort of take the time. People don't know what they don't know. So until you get the opportunity to explain in a bit more detail what's available, people don't know what they don't know. People don't know what's available if they don't know. They haven't had it explained to them. So it's not often something that people just click their fingers and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to go get that today. It's something that...
I was just thinking how to market it. It's just funny. So what you could do, you could target unhealthy people that are employed and they had a tough thing, and you're like, hey, there's this a way you can get health insurance. You just explain this to your employer. So then you get a whole lot of people going to the employer. With LinkedIn, you can also target big companies. So you can target the employees of a company. So they're all just going to the pot. Hey, how do we get this?
Yeah. Well, I guess we're quite lucky here at RMA because we do all the different types of insurance. We do, on the fire and general side, we do domestic and commercial. So we have quite a good relationship with business owners, and over the course of the conversations throughout the year, whether that's be setting them up for managing claims, renewing a policy, those sort of conversations come up over the years that you're building a relationship with a client. And it might be that you might start off with that Chris might start off with a client, for example, it's complete startup, 1 or 2 staff, and then 10 years later, they're 50 staff operation that they want to consider. At the start, those staff benefits was something that they couldn't afford in the startup stage, and they weren't even eligible for. But as time gone by, the situation's changed, and we've I guess our relationships built along with the growth of the client as well over the years. So it's not something that we go targeting, for example. It's sort of it's something that we build, we've got available for our clients, and as their needs grow and evolve, that's when we can bring those conversations in. So that's a different risk than the fire and general sort of risk. I guess the protection of things versus people, but within the RMA group and the Blenheim office in particular, we've got Chris and his team managing the fire and general commercial covers, and then me, Chris, and Sue looking after the life and health risks, which is where we sort of that need might be identified by Chris during the course of his relationship with a particular client or business owner, and then he'll pass that person over to me to discuss those other risks, whether that be the shareholder protection, the key person risk, or implementing some sort of staff benefit.
Can you claim, like, does it increase in price each year, the group schemes, and is it tax deductible? Like, can you claim it?
Uh, as you know, we can't give tax advice.
Oh, yeah, you're not
That's
giving
a
tax
conversation
advice.
for your accountant. But
In theory?
with regards to the pricing, with regards to the pricing, once again, it's all based on demographic and pricing with the providers. Life and trauma is generally a bit more steady because it's sort of based on age and demographic. Medical cover can be a bit more fluctuating with I guess medical inflation, the cost of providing treatment and services being another factor in the pricing.
Do you have to redo it? Like, so now I've got 15 new staff, so I need to sign some stuff again? Like, how do you actually tee it up, and how do you service it?
So I guess when, let's just say hypothetically you've got a business with 30 staff and you go, Jamie, let's get some private medical cover for these guys. I want to be a nice boss. I love these guys. I care for them, and I want to make sure that if something happens to them, they're going to get access to the best treatment and services available. We can knock it on the head quickly and get them all healthy and recovered. I'm like, sure thing, mate. Let's run through some options. So then you go. I'll give you those options. Like, cool, that works. Let's go ahead. Let's set that up. So from there, we would then launch the program with the staff in conjunction with the insurance company that was selected through the quoting process, and we would onboard those. Do I say 30 staff? Yes, 30 staff.
Yeah, you went 30,
Yeah. You're a big dog now, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm rinsing it, bro.
Yeah, you're rinsing it. So yeah, we'd onboard those 30 staff individually, and sort of give them the options to just go ahead with the one that the company's provided, or give them the option to also add their family members on or upgrade a plan at that stage. Because if they do that at that point, then their family also get the option to have the cover for qualifying pre-existing conditions as well, which is an awesome benefit. So it's
So you
not
could
just
almost
staff
get,
members to get it. It's good, mate. It's bloody good. Like,
you could have family members that are cooked. And
yeah.
that could be the motivator. Because
Well,
people
yeah,
don't like to
well,
think about it themselves. Like, have like a
no.
business that have a whole lot of overweight, unhealthy family members.
Well, yeah. There you go.
Sorry, okay, now
I don't know.
you
I'm struggling to find a demographic for that, bud. But what
KFC.
demographic? Or
If they work at
oh,
KFC, their parents are getting all the freebies, or a bakery or something.
well, I guess the family extends to just like, I guess, immediate, so spouse, partner, children,
Yeah.
not mums and dads and that. But
So you need intergenerational unhealthiness, is what you want to.
yeah, but we're not wanting to see people be like that. Ideally, people live a long and happy and healthy life without needing what we're providing them. We're a plan B,
But then they don't value it. You know what I mean? Well, you need people
yeah,
that
that's
value
true.
it.
It's true.
Okay, so now you
Yeah.
got 30 people teed up, and then I took off. I
Yep.
got another 20. Do I have to come back to you and be like, yo,
Nah, so what happens from there is that's a good part of having an advisor manage this as opposed to an insurance company directly. So because you're such a big dog now, you've got an HR person who liaises with me every month and says, Jamie, we've got 2 people who have started this month and we've got 1 person who have left. So I'd get in touch with the 2 people who started to get them onto the plan. And then I'd talk to the person who's leaving, for whatever reason they're leaving, and say, hey, look, you've got 30 days if you wish to continue this cover at your own costs. And do you want to do that? Give them the pricing, give them the options, and merge them to an individual policy. So it's not sorry, we do it once, you've had 20 new people come on this year. We do it as it happens, I guess.
and all it is you just get the name and number and date of birth and stuff. Do you have to do any medicals and stuff? You must.
No medicals, which is cool. On those, I guess that's if it's a fully subsidised plan, a fully funded and paid for plan. It's different. There's some employer groups who would just set up a group and they get a All we're
Discount.
really doing is giving a discount to staff, and it has to be fully underwritten. But that's sort of we don't have any of those ones. We've got the fully subsidised, fully paid,
Good
employer
buggers.
paid ones. Yeah, the good buggers.
Compassionate
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's the
know.
one.
So
Yeah.
wait. So let's say I'm not the big dog anymore. I'm the employee, and you're gonna set me up. What are we doing? Do you get my ID or what's the?
So, well, we depending on where they are, like we've got. Well, I guess as you know, with the advancement of modern technology now, we can we can chat with people all over the show. It's not always in person.
Yeah.
So we arrange a meeting, whether it be in person and Teams over phone. Some people prefer email still, but we'd sort of give them a detail, a rundown of what the employer is providing as part of the offering and the options for them to join, whether that be just themselves or if they want to add their family members. There's like an online link that they complete with their sort of name, address, phone number, contact details, people they want to add, and that can provide the pricing that they'd have to pay over and above if they wanted to, reduce an excess, go up to next level, a plan up, add family members, what have you. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process. Once the onboarding part, once they've decided what they want, it's only about 5 minutes. Pretty stress free.
Easy.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's really just making them aware of what they've got and whether they want to do something with it.
Yeah, and then the group life and trauma and ones are even easier. They're sort of a yearly renewal one. So just before, I guess, a couple months before the policy renews every year, we'll just once again track the staff movement throughout the year, and we'll keep a running spreadsheet. So at renewal time, we can capture that movement over the year. And that's just
Well, how's that different? Is it just you click one person left, we don't know who they are, but bomb.
Oh no, we generally get notified by the whoever's in charge of. Sometimes it's the business owner, sometimes it's the HR person. Every organisation is different, but we just sort of we do keep pretty close contact with them, and sort of as movements happen throughout the year, then we'll manage those accordingly.
So I can imagine it nowadays. It's like do you want free health insurance because you've had pre-existing conditions and you can't get cover? Well, if your employer has over 15 staff, you can just walk up to them and say, like, yo, hook us up.
I don't know if the insurance company would like us promoting it like that. I think it's all risk-based thing, I guess, as well. The whole concept of the mixture of younger and older and healthy and not so healthy.
No. So we're going to get the one unhealthy one and a company that's really healthy, but they're going to be the inspiration. They're going to be the catalyst for the call, because that overcomes the objection of like, will the employees like it, and all the employees keep coming to them, boss, we got to do this thing. Especially truck drivers, big boys and girls, but mostly boys.
Well, I guess as you can imagine, each different occupation type has a different risk, so that they are priced accordingly. And as you can imagine, the risk of a office-based job versus the truck driver example might be slightly different risks. So
do they even get it though? The paperclip people? Do you have any clients? Like, what's the industries that usually say yes? Surely it'd be people that are worried about it.
It's a real mixture.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've got such a wide variety of clients. Really, we've got IT firms. We've got truck drivers, that's honestly the and everything in between.
So it's emotionally motivated as opposed to
it's emotionally motivated. It's about an employer wanting to do be a supportive employer really.
Good clients.
Yeah.
You just have a whole lot of people that care about their staff.
Yeah,
and you get fire engines. Okay, so shareholder protection. So someone said something like, I don't know if it's shareholder protection, but like if you connect it to a buy-sell agreement, you have to
Yeah.
keep increasing it because the business gets bigger?
Well, it's recommended that you review it.
So you're incentivized
Over
for the business to make lots of money in a way. So then you get more premium.
Well, well, yes and no. I mean, the policy's only there for as long as it's required. But you think about it as well. There's so many changes that happen over the lifetime of a business. Not just increasing in value. It could be that you might start off with two young whippersnappers, and then one of them, then you might add a third because they've got an extra dimension or an extra specialty that's going to help grow the business even more. So you're adding a third person on as a shareholder. Yeah, you've got to you can't just forget these things. You've got to roll with what they've got for them to be relevant. They've got to be rolling with the changes as well. So that's not just so we try and we recommend reviewing it every year to check, is the business still worth. If the business value is increasing, we need to look at bumping it up, because there's no point in having, if the business is valued at 10 million and you've only got $500,000 each, there's going to be a big gap. That's either going to have to come through borrowing or self-funding the difference, and most places can't do that. So that's what so you've got to make sure that the cover is always relevant and up to date, whether that be value, whether it be and vice versa. It could be that you got three people to start with, two younger people, one older person. The older person's slowly reducing their shareholding down, and the other two people are buying in, increasing their shareholding. We've got to adjust the value of the shareholding for the respective shareholders over time too.
So let's give an example. So I'm in business with some bloke, and then he dies, and I've got shareholder protection. But then obviously his partner wants some money. Is it based on the value of the business at that moment? And if the shareholder protection is not enough, I still owe them something.
Potentially there's a shortfall there, and then that's once again where where you come into issues is how you're going to fund the shortfall. Have you got the money to yourself to pay it out, or does the business need to pay out? Are you going to have to borrow it?
Do I have to pay it?
Well,
me and the wife are just like.
I'd imagine the wife or husband of the person who passed away would be wanting it.
So she's really sad, lost, and they have no money because we all put it in the business. And then if I don't give her the money, then she's just, what happens? Do we just keep?
Well, the whole idea of that policy is to facilitate the transfer of the ownership. So then, of the shares in the business, so she would get the money.
And if I didn't have it, if I didn't have shareholder protection, and I didn't have the money, what happens? Do you know?
Well, she's still. Are you happy to work with her? Do you like her?
So
are you happy for her to make? Are you happy for her to start making business decisions along with you?
So she could just veto stuff, and then we're both cooked. So we're just like, we never wanted to be in business together. She's sad, and now we're like, so she doesn't come. Do we have to minute meetings, or what? How does it?
Well, I mean, it all depends. Every situation's different, and that's probably getting onto legal advice, which I can't give it. But but that's the whole, I guess, the purpose of these types of covers is to facilitate a clean transfer of ownership. Say me and you are in business. I don't have a wife anymore, but say I did. Mm-hmm. Something happened to me, and let's just say most of our assets are tied up in our shares in the business. She's going to want to have access to the value of that, right?
Take me to court.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she's a nice person like her. She could be really nice. It could be that we were in such a flush position that she was going to allow you to vendor finance the the part you owe me and you just pay me back over time. But it might be that, hey, we're cooked if we don't have this money right now, so find a way to get it to me.
Cool.
And that's the whole concept of these types of policies where they do help facilitate the smooth transfer of ownership. So in that case, yeah, I'm cooked, I die, I had a wife, and that money would be paid to the business would then pay it to her, and then you would get the shares. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you now own the whole business, and she's got the value from the.
How horrific, eh?
Yeah, I might have to start that again. I don't explain that very well.
Yeah, go on. You start again then. Well, I mean,
I'll start again. Thank you.
You
You got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Round 2. Do again.
Round two. All right.
Give me an example. A gay couple.
All right. Okay. So
you and your husband.
ma'am, I'll do it if you want me to. It'll be funny. But
Modern times. You're excluding me.
I'm single now. This is a prospecting thing for me.
Yeah,
too.
there you go. Yeah, if
No,
you
I'm
want
joking.
yeah, we'll hit you up. Anyone listening?
Yeah.
wanted to get shares in a business?
Yeah.
All right, go. What's your example? Go on.
All right. Let's say me and you are in a
Wait, stop there.
business.
Okay. All right. Good.
We own a marketing company.
Yeah.
And it's worth, nice round figure, $2 million, right? Both me and you have like a shareholder protection of life cover of $1 million each. I've got my family to separate, and you've got your family separate. Say I pass away, I'm gone. My family are going to want to have, I guess, realize the value of the shares in the company. And you are not going to want my family to have an input into the running of the business because they might not know anything about it or how the day-to-day running of it type thing. So with the shareholder protection policy we set up, that helps facilitate my family getting the value of the shareholding paid out, and then the share transfer back to you. So now you own 100% of it. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So do you have to connect it to a buy?
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I was saying before that all these conversations are quite involved. We've got to have accountants involved for who's going to own the policy. Is it owned by the company itself, or is it owned by the shareholders? How much is the business worth? How much cover do we have to put in place to make this type of policy work? And that's sort of an ongoing thing where we, get the value of check the value of the business ongoing to make sure it's still reflective of what the policy set up for. And I guess the other part comes to the legal side, and the shareholder agreement is, all right, we've got this policy set up to do this. We need to have it documented that this is what the purpose of those funds are for. So it goes to the right place and does what it needs to do at the time that it's needed.
Yeah, I heard someone that didn't tee it up right with a trust or something, and
oh yeah, there's some horror stories about how they've not paid set up right, and it hasn't gone down well. So it's not, so you've got to make sure, like, these conversations, we're quite involved, like I said, with accountants, lawyers, depending on the structure of the business or our size of it. It could be a board as well making a decision there too. But it's really important that it is set up right and it is maintained long term. So, and as things change.
So you go to these two people and you're like, okay, let's get shareholder protection. We got to get the accountant to think about the tax implications when it pays out, as well as how to track it now. And then the lawyer to draw up the agreement, is it? Is that kind of the gist?
Yeah, pretty much. And well, quite often they'll have an agreement, a buy-sell agreement in place anyway. And then this is the insurance policies, the vehicle that helps facilitate that, I guess.
And buy-sell agreement, you guess you have someone decide how much the business is worth and then what they agree to buy and sell and who gets it. I know it's a legal question, but
Yeah, yeah. I guess the thing is as well that the valuation of business is a moving target. It's changing all the time. What it might be worth today is going to be different than it was going to be worth in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. The shareholdings are going to change over time. It could be that me and you in our marketing business, we might decide to get Billy to come join the team and be third owners each. So I'm selling a few of my shares, you're selling a few of you. Billy's got a third, you've got a third, I've got a third. But the business is now worth 10 million. We need to adjust the value of the policy to link up with that. So, yeah.
And is it the same, just you just get the medicals, sign them up, and then once you've got the structure right with the different key people, but what about the insurance signing it up thing? How do you?
So that's all individual. So that's not like a group type cover. It's individually assessed, these ones. So we still have to go through the whole underwriting process on that.
So the premiums will be different, but the outcome could be the same.
They will. Yeah, that's right. So I mean, that's one thing we can't control is people's medical history or circumstances that's happened before they've come to see us.
What inspired them to get it? Like, what usually is the reason they give it? Is it they just made logical sense, or same thing, they're worried about debt?
Yeah. Once again, like, people approach us and people's motivations different for every circumstance, really. It might have been that someone they know had experienced something, or they've heard of someone where things have gone a bit to custard in the business.
A mess, eh?
Yeah, caused a massive mess when one of the shareholders has passed away or has to exit permanently.
Wait, if someone has debt and they die, is it now the partner's fault? The one that's alive, that's their debt?
Well,
the business,
it comes into the structure. It comes into the structure of everything. It depends on how the debt's structured, and but yeah.
What about
every situation?
What's personal disability? Like, what actually do you need to be disabled, permanently disabled? You're a commercial death. I think someone said that to me. It can't work.
Yeah, I guess the criteria is different for different things as well. It's essentially unable to work again.
Ever.
What you're doing. Yeah.
Whew. What are the odds, though? Eh? What are the odds someone's going to... Like, I can sort of get that they're out of commission for a while.
Yeah.
But, they're just, cooked, Stephen Hawking's. But he can still work.
Yeah. Well, you can still work, that guy. He's yeah. Just can't talk as well.
You said that. Yeah. So, okay. So you got the group scheme, at least 15 people. It's easy to set them
one
up.
thing I forgot to mention about the group schemes too is, this has probably come back to your discussion around just going to get a whole bunch of people who are sick.
Just like targeting them. Stephen Hawking joke. Yeah, go on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sick people. Yep.
Yeah. So with the sweet spot, it's got more than 15 is when they get the cover for the pre-existing conditions. But after once the group gets to a certain size, and it's different with the different insurers, but let's just say a nice round number of 100 people. After a group gets to that size, then the claims history can impact pricing. So if you have a group plan with 100 staff and hardly anyone's claimed, and then you've got another group with 100 plus staff and everyone's claiming, and it's just the claims are just through the roof, then that can impact the pricing. So there are some of the stuff's I guess, but it's different for different people who you get in front of you. And you'd probably get into that discussion more individually. Some of the stuff would probably expand on a bit more than you would with a general conversation.
So you want one motivated, unhealthy person to start the chat, and then the whole crew never claim on it, never see any value on it, and then you get a discount. Yeah.
There's got to be value in it. There's got to be value.
So okay, wait, key person. So what are we missing? Key person cover. What's the criteria? They have to be a key person, and it's the same thing. They have to be permanently cooked.
Well, the key person, I guess, aspect of protection is you got to. I mean, let's just say in your business, for example, you're a key person.
Yeah,
It's pretty obvious you're a key person,
number one.
but up top, but but in a business where you've got say 30 staff, the key person might not necessarily be. Let's just say you've become a big dog now. You got 30 odd staff.
Yeah.
You're still running the joint, owning it all, but you might not be the key person anymore. It might be Billy, who
Billy doesn't have
CEO.
it
I
in
don't
him.
know.
Billy doesn't have
Oh
it in
well,
it.
hey.
Sam for sure.
Okay, Sam's got it. All right, we'll say it's Sam. Sam's the key person.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get cover on a key person who's you've identified as a key person in the business, you still you have to tell the story to the insurers. You have to justify why this person is a key person. You can't just go give it to Sam because she's a good friend. Yeah, he actually does have to be a key person in the business. And how do they justify that? It's what what portion of the revenue is he responsible for? All these different factors come into play. It's obviously easier to justify sometimes when you're from the ownership side of it, because especially in small businesses where
Explaining that to Sam's gonna be tough though, eh? It's like,
yeah,
yo,
but
Sam, you're really important to me, but I'm gonna get some money if you get cooked.
well, generally speaking, Sam's probably not going to know too much about this until you've made a decision.
Oh, so
You've
surprise! Here's the needle.
So you've caught up with me, and you're like, shit. I tell you what, Sam is bloody important to my business. If I didn't have Sam for a short or long period of time, the business would be pretty parked.
Is that how you pitch it to Sam? Is that like, Sam, we decide you're the most important person in this company. That's why we're going to insure you in case you die. How does that chat go?
Well, there's got to probably something be in it for Sam too. Like, are you going to be using the funds to keep his job open? Are you going to be using the funds to keep his job open when he gets healthy again? Are you using?
Do you put it in writing? Can you put it in writing to give him peace of mind, or is it all just handshake?
Look, that's a decision with your lawyer and your HR person. It's a horses for courses thing. Every situation's different.
So he's spinning you on the Sam. You're like, I'm doing this for you, mate.
Sam, this benefits both of us. If you can't work for a period of time because you're crook, say you're out for 6 months, I need someone to replace you. I only want to replace you temporarily, so they're not going to be a permanent person. We're going to need a locum or a temporary person to cover what you do. That keeps the business going, and when you're back, you got your job, and we've got this other stuff to support you while you're off.
Is he still permanently disabled, or is he just how cooked do you need to be?
Well,
if he's permanently disabled, you're not saving his job.
It depends on what It depends on what cover you got. Like, in that situation, you're probably just looking at, for a key person who's not necessarily an owner or shareholder, you're probably looking at the risk for the income protection, not so much like death or permanent disablement. You're like, okay, Sam's got cancer. Cool. He needs 6 months to pull back. Yeah, it sucks. It's a terrible time, but Sam, we're going to keep paying you. That's the thing is, like, with that, you can probably still keep paying Sam.
Is it still called key person cover, or is it income protection?
Yeah. Well, it's a same thing, but it's just the purpose. The key person is more the purpose of the cover, I guess.
Okay. So I go. I'm like, I want to. Hey Sam, I want me to still get some income while you're cooked to get your job open.
So effectively, the insurance so
you could pay Sam. To be fair, you could say, hey Sam,
you could still keep paying Sam regularly, and you could use the income protection that's coming through every month to pay Sam's replacement. That way, it's a net effect. Sam's still getting paid. You're still keeping him on the box. He's still got a job to come back to. You're not paying the other dude because the insurance company is, and the work's still getting done, so you're still getting paid.
So you tee up an income protection for Sammy, and then you get a key person.
It benefits everyone. It benefits Sammy because he's still getting paid, benefits the business because it's still operating as close to full capacity as it could without Sam, because you've hired someone else to do Sam's stuff. And at the bottom, and the bottom end, which is always important to business owners, you're still getting paid because the work's still getting done.
So I don't quite get the structure. So you got an income protection for Sammy to pay him, and then you got a key person cover.
No. So no, you just have one. Just have one.
But enough to pay two people.
The key person cover is on Sammy, but it is paid to the business.
Can you pay more than his income? Because if you're going to have to pay his income,
it's based on the cost to replace Sam, right? So let's just say the cost to replace Sam or to hire someone who does what Sam does is $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
So what happens is Sam's off 6 months. Every month there's $10,000 paid from the insurance company to the business.
Well, then there's not enough for Sam.
No, but the business uses that money to pay their Sam's replacement. So they're not paying. So effectively, the business isn't paying for Sam's replacement. They're still paying the one lot of wage or salary that they were paid before. And the work's still getting done by the other person.
So you're paying Sam like normal, but the insurance is paying the new fella that you don't really like, but you're just hanging until Sam is back.
He's there till Sam gets back. He's doing a job. He's keeping the business going. He's doing Sam's jobs, and hopefully keeping the business going as good as Sam was. It's a win-win because Sam's getting paid, the business is still operating, which is good for you as the owner because you're still getting paid, and it hasn't been impacted because the work's still been done.
And if Sammy's well cooked, you can keep paying him for 2 years if you wanted to, just because you're a good bloke.
You can. The benefit period you can select. It can be 6 months, it could be 1 year, it could be 2 years, some cases 3, but it's not generally a permanent thing. It's the whole idea of that covers to cover a temporary period of time.
So that's a good yarn to say, hey, Sammy, you're so important. I've worked out you're the most valuable person in this company. Here's your most valuable award. Give him a trophy. By the way, need your blood work. And then...
Yeah. So there is something in it for Sammy. If that's the purpose of the, it all comes down to the purpose really. Like why are we looking at doing this for you? If it's just to protect the business and like say for example you're doing that, you're going to double dip and you were going to pay Sammy. Why would Sammy want to do it?
Yeah. So you just tell Sammy, don't put it in writing.
Well, it's not going to get into that yarn, but
business owners like some of the front.
It's one of those ones you sort of got to. I think it's important that you document these things, any sort of arrangement. We can't facilitate the documentation, but it is important that there is a clear direction of why your intention of why you're doing these things. And in that case, there was Sammy. He's not going to go tell everyone you're just sort of hoping he doesn't go tell everyone at work.
He's the best. Yeah.
I'm the best. That's what they're doing for me. But he'll probably know that anyway.
Do you plant that seed because you want more premiums? You're like, yo, Sammy, here's the deal, mate. And then he goes tells everyone, look what I got. And then you get a group scheme, you get the whole shebang.
You don't want to upset the owner.
No, true. They're the one paying you.
But I guess
it's either that or lose all your staff.
In that situation, it's and in times where it's hard to attract and retain good staff, that's one way that can be done. That can achieve that, because I guess it's a win-win for everyone in that situation. Like if the business is so reliant on Sammy, you need to have something in place to make sure if Sammy's not around that you're looked after.
You could set up KPI. You could have revenue contribution to the team and have a ranking system, and then whoever's at the top gets the income protection.
Jeez, I don't know.
Nah, don't do that. It's horrific. You're giving good advice, man. It's beautiful. Anything you missed?
I tell you've got some interesting bloody tactics of prospecting here, going after bloody really sick people.
the game's the game. You know what I mean? Like, no one.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well, it's just no one wants insurance until you told them, unless they've experienced it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what it comes down to is really like when everyone's motivation is different when they come to see an advisor like us. Everyone's situation is different when they come to see an advisor like us. Everyone has different understandings or education around what's available. I guess it's our job is to really get an understanding of what's going on in that particular person or organisation, and what it is that we can help with, what it is, what solutions we can offer and discuss with them that will be of benefit to them. So it really just comes down to doing the best thing for whoever's sitting in front of you, regardless of whether it's your mum and dad with a mortgage or your large commercial CEO or business owner. Really, it's it just comes down to people taking the time to understand what's going on in their world and just helping them. Really, like people come to you for help. At the end of the day, it's what we're providing is a vehicle to help if the shit really hits fan.
Yeah, and you don't believe that initially when you say it until 4 years in and you're doing claims and you walk into that same kitchen. So it is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
like I am creative and brutal with it, but
yeah, I mean it's a really claims are claims are when the rubber hits the road really for what we do. Insurance is a weird thing to advise people on because it's something that you hope they never need to use. But if they do need to use it, then that's when the rubbers hit the road. Like that's when all these discussions you've had about planning and protecting, really the value of the cover or the value of the advice you provided, that's when it's known.
That's when it matters.
And so claims are an interesting time because it's, look, I care about you. I've known you for 10 years. We've worked together for 10 years. This sucks. This happened to you. But hey, we did have a plan in place for this. And now you're going to be fine. Your family's going to be fine. Your business is going to be fine financially. You just focus on getting better.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, on that note, thanks for coming on.
All good, mate. All good.
So I'll just